Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph. Today is August 20th. It's a Wednesday, and it is mine and my husband's 9th anniversary. Yay us, 9 years. It's been 9 good years. Those of you who have been around for a minute will probably remember when I was knitting my wedding skirt and sewing the top and getting ready for our beach wedding in Florida. Yeah, that was a good time. Anyway, it's been 9 years, if you can believe it. Here's to 9 more. I said that to Bill today, and he's like, "You mean the back 9?" I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I know it's a golf term, but whatever. Anyway, so yes, it is Wednesday. If you are new here, thank you for checking out the podcast. I hope you enjoy it. If you're a returning viewer, it's always lovely to have you here. If you are a channel member, thank you so much for your support here. I really appreciate that. And if you are interested in becoming a member of the channel, you can find out more about that down below the video here on YouTube. Also below the video here on YouTube in the description box, when you click more, you will find show notes for this episode, which I include timestamps for all of the different things I talk about, as well as links to my project pages, both on Ravelry as well as on my project blog, which is called My Favorite Day. Everything else is linked in the show notes as well. How you can reach me, where you can find me online, our Ravelry group for this podcast, the threads for our current make-along, which I'm going to talk about today. All of that is in the show notes. And if there's anything I talk about today and you can't find it in the show notes, feel free to leave a comment and I will be happy to answer you down there. Okay, so now let's get into some specific time-sensitive announcements before we get into the crafting. And I do have quite a few things to show you this week. It's not been quite 2 weeks since I talked to you last, so you know, we're doing good here in August, especially since vacation is coming up. We leave Monday for a 3-week, 23-day trip. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little anxiety provoking, but it's okay. But anyway, my announcements mostly have to do with the lead up to vacation and how things are going to be in the shop because of vacation. So I'm going to read these so I don't forget anything. Number 1, last time I did mention that I was probably going to be taking the dye to order items out of the shop. They are gone. Like, there are no dye to order items in the shop right now. They will not be coming back until after I get back from my trip, which will be mid-September. I will slowly start putting those back. It's kind of a task because there's a lot of them. So just be patient, but they will be back. My new club, the Artistic Licensed Yarn and Fiber Club, the signups are still up right now. I originally said today was going to be the last day to sign up for that club. I'm extending it by 1 day. So you actually have through tomorrow, Thursday the 21st, if you would like to sign up for the club. So that listing is still in the shop. If you sign up for the club, once I close those listings between then and when I go away early next week, I plan to send out an email to everyone in the club so you just know what's going on as far as the member participation part of the club that you've been informed about when you signed up. Okay, other than that, there are still in-stock items in the shop right now. Those are also going to all be in the shop and available for purchase through tomorrow, Thursday, the 21st, end of the day. So like 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Truth be told, they might be available a little bit after that, depending on how that gets set up. But basically, plan to not be able to purchase anything from the shop after tomorrow, the 21st. At 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Now, the way I have to do this, I was originally thinking I was going to leave the shop open while I was away. However, that means that I could leave on Monday and somebody Monday afternoon could place an order and it isn't going to ship for them for like over 3 weeks. And I just don't feel good about that. So I decided, even though I could like let people know that was going to be the case, I feel better just not having things available to purchase while I'm away on a trip of this length. So that's what I'm doing. Everything will be available through tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. And then after that, you will be able to see the things in the shop. It'll almost be like they're in preview mode again. You'll be able to see them. You just won't be able to add them to your cart until they're back in the shop. I may set it up so that they can go back in the shop like, the week prior to me being home, so then they can ship as soon as I get home. That remains to be seen. If I decide to do that, you can be watching for a newsletter before I leave that will explain that. Or maybe I'll set a newsletter up to go out while I'm away. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. Just know for sure you cannot order anything after tomorrow, the 21st at 11:59 p.m., although you will be able to see the stuff in the shop. Just trying to be really clear about this. Lastly, I am a Pro Shop sponsor for the Down Cellar Studio Pigskin Party this year, which signups officially started for that today. So you can go sign up over at that link, and I will put all those links to that stuff in the show notes as well. This is an event that happens every year. It's a 5-month-long make-along sponsored or hosted by Jen from the Down Cellar Studio podcast. I have been a sponsor of that for years and years, and I love doing it. I love participating in it as well. As a Pro Shop sponsor, I usually do exclusive colorways. I do have my first exclusive colorway that was available in the shop last week in a very limited number of in-stock skeins. It was just the self-striping. It's called Kicking Up Leaves. And there it is. And they're all gone. They did all sell out. So that's another one that won't be available until the second half of September. I will definitely be dyeing more up and putting that in the shop, as well as mini skein sets and some fiber options. So you can look forward to that coming. But again, it's just not going to be available until after I get back from my trip. I think that's it. As always, the best way to know what's going on in the shop is to be subscribed to my newsletter. You can do that from any page of my website. So there's that. All right, I think that is all of the announcements. Let's move on to the crafting. I don't know what's going on with the lighting today. It is a gloomy day. It seems like it just got a little bit brighter though, so I don't know how that's going to show up for you. Let's just roll with it, shall we? All right, I've got several finished objects to talk about, a couple of which, though, I don't have here. So when we get to those, I will put pictures in for you. The first one, however, I do have right here. And this is a pair of socks, which you have seen in progress. Sorry. Here we go. Every time I start recording, my nose gets itchy. And I know I'm not the only podcaster who has this problem. Andrea Mowry, I feel like, has this problem too. Her nose gets itchy or she gets thirsty. I don't remember. Anyway, we all have our issues. Here are the socks. So this is my Kawaii Pie colorway. That was my Pie Day colorway this year. And these socks are socks that I knit for my daughter's one roommate, Heaven. Heaven was the recipient of a hat in the last episode that I showed you. These are actually for Heaven's birthday, so they will not be getting these till later this fall, but they are finished. Now, the only goofy thing, and you can probably tell just from how they're on the sock blockers, this second sock, I ended up making, I'm going to say 2 to 3 rounds shorter in the cuff than the first one. How I did that, I don't know, because I was counting rounds. Clearly, I counted incorrectly. So it's a little short. I'm hoping, though, that won't be a turnoff for them in wearing them. Socks are, just slouch the one down. It should be fine. But I was a little perturbed at myself when I realized that that had turned out that way. Oh, well. It'll be okay. So these are finished. This is my bounce base. I used US 1 needles, which is my normal go-to here. 2x1 rib, slip stitch heel flap and gusset, and nothing super fancy. I didn't even do any yarn management. I just knit it the way the stripes came because it's a Pie Day colorway, so it's fairly random anyhow. So those are done. It is quite warm in here. And I didn't have the air conditioner on. I don't have the window open because of rain, and we always get rain coming this way. I'm gonna pause and turn the ceiling fan on and hope that it does not cause weirdness. So hang on a second. Okay, I think that's gonna be okay. It's not gonna blow things around. I have it on low. It'll just give me a little bit of air. I have a candle burning, and I know this sounds crazy, but do you guys ever feel like candles in a closed room really increase the temperature, or is this just a me weird thing? It's a 3-wick candle, which I don't usually burn 3-wick candles, but I did buy several of them when Bath and Body Works was having their like Falloween, or was it Summerween? Is that what they called it? Their fall candles out in July. It smells so good though. It is pumpkin pecan waffles. It's yummy. Okay, that's my candle that you can't see, but I can smell, and it's making me warm, so I have my fan on. All right, socks. Socks are done. Next up is one that I cannot show you because it has already been gifted, and this is the hat for my daughter's other roommate, Allie. I will put a picture of it in here. This is not Allie, obviously. This is my daughter modeling it. I saw Emma on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. She came up because we did her birthday. Her birthday was on Monday. And I gave her Allie's hat to take home with her, and she modeled it. I do not yet have a picture of Allie wearing it. I told Emma I need one. But anyway, that is finished. And that is, again, that's some Malabrigo Rios, same kind of yarn that I used for Heaven's hat, just a different colorway. It was Tranquilo. Same recipe. It's 5 inches of 2x2 rib, followed by 7 inches of stockinette. And then the decreases on US 5s and US 7s, the ribbings on 5s, everything else is on 7s. It's actually closer to 6.5 inches of stockinette because for some reason I cannot measure right now, apparently. And I realized that something was amiss when I weighed the finished hat, and it was only 85 grams instead of closer to like 90, 92, which the other 2 hats that I've made like this out of Rios were around that weight. Emma said that Allie really likes the hat, so it's not a problem, but it was just like, how am I having such trouble measuring things? Like, I counted wrong on the socks. I measured those 2. I don't know, whatever. Hat and socks, both finished. Measured weirdly, but they're good. Anything else I need to tell you about the hat? No, not at all. Another hat, though, that is finished is my August charity hat. Once again, same hat recipe, which is it's just my recipe that I use. It's not something written out. Someday maybe I'll write it up. What in the world was that? I have no idea what just beeped. Sounded like my little printer over there, but I don't. My office is haunted. Everything is doing weird things. The power may have flickered or something, and I just didn't know it. That could be it. Oh, gosh. My office is haunted. Haunted it is. Of course, it kind of looks haunted, doesn't it? Like with my little skeleton guy back there. Okay. Hat. Let's talk about the hat. New viewers, I'm sorry. I would love to tell you that this is not the way it goes usually. I would be lying. All right. So this hat, I used leftovers from that crocheted lace top that I finished earlier this year. There's the picture of the top. I think I keep putting that in. This is some Araucania Renko, which is a discontinued yarn. It's a fingering weight, non-superwash. And I figured I had the project bag, and let me see. Oh, come here. I'm just turning everything on my table back here. Here we go. This was what I had left over. And so I thought, I'm going to knit a hat. And there was actually 2 other very, very partial balls. So I started with that and then went to these. And I thought, great, I can use up most of my leftovers. Well, I still have a fair amount left. I don't know if it's enough to do a whole other hat or anything. But then a couple days later, I was in my Bill's office, which is where my yarn stash is, and lo and behold, I have 3 full skeins of that yarn that have never even been wound into balls. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I mean, I could clearly make another top or something. I have plenty. I don't usually make more than one garment out of the exact same yarn, but we'll see what happens with it. Maybe I'll weave something with it someday. Anyway, it's not a real pressing concern. This is my hat. Again, exact same as those other hats that I just talked about. 5 inches of 2x2 rib, 7 inches of hat body, stockinette. I do think this is actually about that. I think I got this one right. And then decreases. This was the fingering weight held double, so it's like a DK. And this used exactly 100 grams. The hat weighs 100 grams. So I did use up a fair amount of yarn. 100 grams is more than what it takes to do it with the DK, or I guess Rios is considered a worsted, right? I feel like it's a lighter worsted though. Anyway, so this is a charity hat. Again, I'll just have to label it so that whoever gets it knows that it's not something to throw in the washer. But that should be okay. So, hat finished. What else? Okay, the next thing I have to show you is, well, we'll start with this one because this is also finished. This is a wee little pumpkin. The pattern is called the Granny Pumpkin, and it is by Summer Barrett of Stitch Sister Co. And super cute little pattern. You guys know how much I love crocheting granny stitch. And granny squares and granny stripes, granny. I love doing granny stuff. And so a friend of mine found this pattern and sent it to me because my friend also loves doing granny stuff, and we're both a little obsessed with pumpkins. So I decided to give this a try. Now the pattern's written, you could do 3 different sizes. This is actually the medium. The small is quite small. I wasn't so fond of what the small looked like because it kind of loses the pumpkin characteristics a little bit, at least the ones in the pictures I thought did. But I like the medium one, and it's just got a little stick in there as it for its stem. So you do your crochet, and I changed colors. I just did this out of really random DK weight leftovers because I just wanted to try out the pattern to see how it worked, and it worked fine. And then once you're done, this is a little more open in the top, you stuff it, and I just used fiberfill, and then you leave a long tail from your last color change, which was that gold in there. You leave a long tail so that after you've stuffed it, you then put the needle up. I figure you're supposed to go up through the bottom, I think. And you make your segments. You cinch it down to make segments. I do 5 segments from my pumpkins. And then you run the needle through. Do you do that before or after? I don't remember. But eventually, one time or another, you run your needle through the top, the last round, and cinch it up. I think you do that first, and then you do your segments. But you have to leave space for your stick or your stem. And then I kind of cinched it up again. So anyway, that's how that's done. It's super easy. I did this in an evening while watching a movie. Well, the stem I put in the next day. But yeah, super easy. So then I decided I wanted to make another one, and I wanted to do the large as part of my mom's birthday present. Her birthday is tomorrow. Big holiday, birthday, anniversary kind of week here for us. Anyway, so here is a picture of my large pumpkin. I love how it turned out. Now, the only thing about the large pumpkin is when I got to the top, this only, I believe, was 1 round of decreases. The large, she has you doing, I think, 2 rounds of decreases. It really stretches the next to the last round though, and I think if I made the large again, I would probably do a 3rd round of decreases so I could divide up that last decrease round so that there wouldn't be as much tension at the top like that, because you could really see the stuffing. Like, you can't really see it too much here. I mean, you can see it in different spots, but not excessively. But on that one you could. I'm not sure if I have a picture of that or not. If I do, I'll put it in here. Anyway, I wasn't going to rip it out and try to fix it. instead what I did was I camouflaged it because I did want to add some leaves. Now the pattern itself, does not have anything for like leaves or vines. I just winged that myself. So I used a cinnamon stick as my stem on that one, which I did have to hot glue in because it was a short piece of cinnamon stick. But it was really wide and it was the only one I had. The whole package was like disintegrated except for that one really big cinnamon stick. So I put that in, and then I just used some green scrap mountain tweed, and I I chained, I think maybe 40 stitches, and then single crocheted back into them, and that's what makes the little twirly bits. So I did that, and then when I got back to the top, I just went back into the first stitch and then chained another segment, and I did that about, I think, 5 times to get, a whole bunch of different viney tendrils. And then I realized I had no way to actually attach it to the stem because the stem was so big it would not, I was thinking I could just slide that first stitch over it, but that wasn't going to happen. So then I had to make a little chain and attach it and make a loop at the top, and then I had to go back into that chain and do some more tendrils. When I was done though, it was enough to camouflage the top of the pumpkin, and you couldn't see that space that was, pulled, and you could see the stuffing. So it worked out fine, but that was my own little spin on it. So I don't know if I'll put leaves on this guy or not, or not leaves, vines. I could, but anyway, so I'm not sure that that's my last pumpkin, but it's my last pumpkin for right now because I'm certainly not taking pumpkin stuff to work on while I'm away. And I don't know if I'll have time to work on one between now and then. Now my mom's pumpkin, I didn't tell you the yarn. I used leftovers of Mountain Tweed BFL held double. So again, I love holding fingering weight double to get that DK weight. I used a D crochet hook. The pattern calls for using an E, but the pattern also called for using a heavier weight yarn. So since I was using basically the equivalent of a DK, and this is a DK, I went down to a D, and that worked out really well. So success there. Anything else I need to tell? Oh yeah, Mountain Tweed. And I did 4 different colors. It was peach. Now I'm trying to remember what color. Peach, warm honey, sand, and wisp. I think those were the 4 colors, and then the leftover green was one of my like bronze greens that I used for the tendrils, the vines. So cute project. I think my mom will really like it. I made her pumpkin several years ago. Do you guys remember when I was on the other pumpkin kick? They were knitted pumpkins. Oh my gosh, I made so many of those pumpkins. She has some of those too, so adding to her pumpkin collection. One other project that I have to show you, the only thing I'm actually working on right now, is another one of the Fairweather cowls. I know, you're probably really tired of seeing them. This one I've modified a little bit though, so there's some spins to this one, twists if you will. Number one, I'm doing it out of Handspun. Bill and I were going to watch a movie the other night, and I needed something. I didn't have anything that I was working on. Everything else had been finished, and so I think everything else was whatever. I wanted something new to work on, and so I went in my stash and I found a ball of Handspun that was already caked up. A skein of Handspun already caked into a ball. I have no idea what this is. This is very, 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 very old Handspun, like really old. I'm pretty sure I got the fiber for this at Pittsburgh Knit and Crochet. If you're from Pittsburgh and you're familiar with that event, back when it was called Pittsburgh Knit and Crochet, and it was up in Warrendale at the Sheraton. That was a really long time ago. I do not remember who the vendor was. I can picture where their booth was, but I'm fairly certain that is where I got the fiber for this. I don't know what it is. It's definitely got some silk in it because it's very shiny. So it's got like either silk or maybe some tencel or something. I don't know. I'm guessing silk though. Yeah, and so it's just been sitting in my stash forever and ever, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to make myself another cowl with it. Whether I actually have enough yarn to get a full cowl out of this, I don't know, because I'm winging it. But here's what I've got so far. Doesn't it look pretty? It's so funny because it looks really muted in this ball, and then as I'm working with it, it's turning out to have some really nice bright sections in it. So, okay, the pattern itself is the Fairweather Cowl by Jennifer Dickerson, who is Fiberflex. And I did chain on more stitches than the pattern calls for. I think the pattern I would usually do 49. I don't remember how many I did. Let's see, I did count how many clusters I have. I have like 21. So 21 times 3 is like 63. So I probably changed on like 64, I want to say, because you have to do multiple of 3 plus 1, so whatever. It's wider than my other ones. And my hope was it would be wider and long enough that it would kind of drape down a little bit. I'm not really sure because I'm definitely halfway through this ball of yarn. So, and it's not really, I mean, yeah, it would, like, I could choke myself with how big it is. I don't know, depending on how long it gets, I may do something fancy with it, and I don't know what. Maybe I'll do something different. We'll see. We'll see how far I get. But I'm enjoying it. You know what? I love this pattern. The rhythm of it, because it's a 2-row repeat, you know? There's these clusters up here. I'll hold it the right way, trying not to rip my stitches out. So this is the front. So yeah, you can see the open. Okay, here, I'm not talking very well right now. I'm sorry. Usually you do 1 row. It's called a box stitch. You do 1 row of like a single crochet, and then you chain a couple and then single crochet. And so it makes this foundation that then the next row you do these clusters of double crochets into. I'm trying not to give away the whole pattern, even though I've never purchased the pattern. I've just watched her tutorial on YouTube, and I will link that. You can buy a written pattern if you want it, though, from her Ravelry page. Anyway, so that's how it is. It's just that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, when I started this, when I went to do the first double crochet cluster row, I accidentally did half double crochets because the pumpkins are made with half double crochets, and that's the mode my brain was in. And so I had gotten through the first row and I'm like, oh shoot, that's not what that was supposed to be. And so I thought, well, I could just do the rest of them double crochet, and it really would not have mattered. But instead what I decided to do was to do 5 half double crochet rows, and then do 5 double crochet rows, and then 5 half double crochet and 5 double crochet. So that's what I'm doing. It's not a majorly noticeable change up. But it's what I'm doing, and it's fine. I'm enjoying it. Really liking the color. When I first pulled this out, it was like, kind of not my shade. Like, it's not that exciting, but I really like how it's knitting up now, or crocheting up. D-hook on this too. I feel like I use D-hooks a lot, but I do, so it's working well. Not much else to tell you about this. I wish I could remember whose fiber it was. Maybe I have that information buried somewhere deep in the archives of things. If I can find it, I'll add it to the project page. But yeah, that's it. That's my last project that I am actively working on. I have not worked on any other projects that you've heard me talk about in recent episodes, and I'm unlikely to start any of them before I go away on my trip. The pigskin party is starting while I'm away. So September 4th is the kickoff for the pigskin party. So I'm trying to not start new projects before then, like big new projects, like that sweater that I want to do, the Cascade Mountain sweater. I'm going to wait until after I'm back from my trip to start that. And then the 2 crocheted gift blankets that I want to do, I will not be starting those until after I get back. The one that's going to be in the sunflower colors that I talked about last time, I did go through Stash and I pulled out a lot of sunflower colored yarns that I can use for that. So that's, one step on getting started. I have to figure out what my neutral color or my main color is going to be like for the border pieces. I think it's probably going to be mountain tweed, just naked, like undyed mountain tweed. Either that or I might do like sand or something very neutral. That's where I'm leaning for that. But yeah, those projects I will start after I'm back from vacation. However, I need something to take with me on vacation. Now, the thing to know, like if you've been around and you've seen me through many motorcycle trips, you know that motorcycle trips are not trips that I historically end up doing much knitting at all on, because there's no time. I'm driving a bike, right? I'm not sitting in a car with lots of time to just sit and knit. I'm driving my bike during the day. By the time we get to camp or get to a hotel room, get cleaned up, get set up and either cook our dinner if we're cooking at camp or go somewhere to get dinner, by the time we get back from that, like, I'm tired. They're usually very long days. And this trip particularly, like, we're doing other things along the way. We're going to Newfoundland, and so there's things that we're going to stop and do and see and walk around and everything. So it's going to be a busy trip from that perspective. So I don't necessarily anticipate having a lot of crafting time. That said, I'm not going without anything. You know that. Yeah, so what am I taking? The other thing is, since it's a motorcycle trip, space is very limited. Like, I can't take large projects or anything that requires multiple skeins of yarn. So has to be small, compact, squeezable into one of my side case bags. So anyway, the first thing, which I do believe I showed you last time, is I'm going to take this yarn and I am going to do a hat for my daughter using the Same As It Ever Was pattern by Sarah Jordan, which is like one of those end-to-end beanies that you then stuff inside itself and turn up the brim and you have a hat. So that's what this is going to be. That will be one of my daughter's Christmas presents. So I have actually, I don't know that this is the correct needle. I have to double check. There's a needle in here, but this had a different project in there. I think, this was the needle that I was using for the socks. I don't want to accidentally take that, so I'm going to fling those needles over there, and I have to get the correct size needles to do this, which I believe is a 2.5 based on the pattern. So I'm going to take this with me, and that will be something that I'll work on. I may try to hold off working on this, casting it on, until September 4th. While we're away. Now, something I can work on before that, because it's already cast on, is I'm going to take this set of expanded inversibles. I'm going to try to get this out of this bag without ripping things off the needles. Here's the glob of it. This is one of my new expanded inversibles colorways, called Classic Halloween Vibes. And so I purposely did my samples of this colorway so that they would be on needles and I could take them and knit on them. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get them up here where you can see them without like messing the yarn up. So here's the two different skeins, and they're both started. I could do these as shorty socks, but I'm probably going to do them a little bit longer than shorty socks. I don't know if I'm going to take a mini to do for the heels and the toes. I might. I have to see what I have. I know I have some extra minis on hand, so I may do that. We'll see. But yeah, so that is my project that is on the needles. I'm not working on it actively while I'm at home because I want to take it with me and have it as my primary project to start working on while we're on the go. So that will be a project that will be going with me, and it's in this fun little knot bag that I do not remember the maker. I'll have to look it up and see if I can find it. I think it's stained. I've spilled coffee. Oh yeah, well, it's not coffee. It's something purple in there. I think I had this maybe with me on the boat trip, and then things got wet, and then yarn must have bled through or something. I don't know. Whatever. But it's one of my favorite little Halloween bags. So there is that. this is not a Halloween bag, but it's a squishy bag. This is the Star Knits bag I've talked about before. And this trip definitely requires squishy bags. So if I have another Halloweeny squishy bag, I might take that instead. We'll see. Okay, so there's those. And then I'm going to take one more project for sure. Not that I don't think I'm even going to get both of those done. I will be very honest with you. If I get both of those done, I will be shocked while we're away on this trip. The other thing, though, I may take with me is my skein that is left from the sample I knit of my pigskin party colorway, which is Kicking Up Leaves. Now, I do still have the sample on here. I'm going to bind this off, though. I'm not using this as part of my sock because I want it to count for the pigskin party. So I'm going to go ahead, bind off my sample. So I'll have a sample of the colorway, and then I will just use the rest of the skein for probably a pair of socks for myself, possibly a pair of mitts instead. I could do like the not heel toe Dosito, the Swing Your Partner mitts by Kay Litton. I could do those. I might do those. We'll see. But I think that'll go with me. Now, that's three projects for a 23-day trip where I am probably not going to have a lot of knitting time. My brain is telling me, but Lisa, what if you finish those? And then the other part of my brain is saying, you're never going to finish those. Stop being silly. It's all going to depend on how much space I have once I get packed and how much space is left in the bag. My bag's on my bike. If I have a little extra room, I might throw in an extra skein of yarn. I might. We'll see. I don't know. I have a couple of contenders that I might like to take, but I feel like I'm being very unrealistic, to be honest with you, thinking that I'm going to get those 3 done and need another one. Because the only way I would have that much knitting time is if something really unforeseen happened. And if that happened, that would not be a good thing. Like, there is no good scenario that would afford me excess knitting time on this trip. So in that respect, like, I hope I don't end up with extra knitting time. So, and you know, I'm really hoping that I'll be able to hit 1 or 2 yarn shops up in Newfoundland. I've already scoped some out. There are some up there. So it's not like maybe I wouldn't come home with some yarn. But I'm also not taking like extra needles. I'm going to have sock needles with me, and I'm going to have the 2.5 that I need for that hat. So I'm not taking like large needles. I'm not going to take a set of my interchangeables. Like, so I'm not going to start something on DK weight while I'm away. I could take a crochet hook. Let's enable myself. So silly. We're going to stop right there. I need to take a drink of water too. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to stop there with my thoughts about what to take on vacation. We're going to call it those 3 projects. Possibly 1 more skein of yarn, but probably not. All right. So that is everything that's going on and that will be potentially going on. And yeah, let's move on to the make-along, the Choose Your Own Adventure make-along that I am hosting all this year. September is the final month in the 3rd quarter, so you still have time to get things either in the finished objects thread or posted on Instagram, with the hashtag, which I will put here because I can never remember it correctly. Or if you are chatting in the Ravelry thread, that's where our chatter is going on. All of that, I will be drawing prizes for those 3 things at the beginning of October. But I'll be talking to you before then because I will record something after my trip. Again, one of my goals for my Choose Your Own Adventure, and if you are not already participating, you are more than welcome to start at any time. It's open all year around. It's never too late to start. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You are choosing your own adventure. You decide what you want to do, your goals for yourself, all you. One of my goals for this year isn't even fiber related, but it's to try a new recipe, 1 a week. I am not there, like I'm behind, but I think I'm now on number 21 or 22 perhaps. And that recipe is roasted garlic, Parmesan zucchini squash, and Parmesan zucchini, comma, squash, comma, and potatoes. We've got the Oxford comma in there. Oxford comma for the win. Yeah. So you may remember I had done squash tots last time, which I told you if I made them that night before I got the editing done, I would let you know. And they were really good. And I did link that recipe in the last show notes. So you can look there if you'd like to do that. But my garden is producing squash like crazy. So I had to do something else with some squash, and the garlic, Parmesan zucchini, comma, squash, comma, and potatoes was really good. So, and that was from a website called Cooking Classy. And I will link that recipe in the show notes. Other than that, we have just got life stuff going on. And speaking of the garden, yes, the garden is producing. This is what I picked yesterday in the garden. Check it out. Getting lots of tomatoes now, the ones that the groundhog is allowing me to have, because Mr. Groundhog has actually been munching away on ripe tomatoes. I don't care. I've got tons of them down there, and I know I'm probably going to lose some while we're away. Although, you know, the kids are going to be up here watching the house and taking care of things. So I told them just throw the tomatoes in the refrigerator downstairs, and I will do something with them when I come home. But yeah, lots of tomatoes, tons of squash, tons of sweet banana peppers, tons of jalapeno peppers. Finally, I've almost got a bell pepper. The bell peppers have been the slowest. I don't know why, because that wasn't even the one that the groundhogs had been eating, or the groundhog had been eating earlier in the summer. There's one really nice size green bell pepper that's finally turning red. They're supposed to either be red or orange ones. That's the plants I bought. And the other plants have some small peppers. So eventually I should have more of those peppers. Squash, I already said, tons of squash. My potatoes, did you see there were some potatoes in that picture? I didn't actually dig potatoes up yet, but the potato plants are finally dying off. And so they're kind of laying on the ground. And as I was picking squash the other day, I saw potatoes just sort of part way out of the ground all by themselves. So I don't know if something was there digging. I don't think so, because they weren't marred in any way. I think it was just they were close to the surface, and so as the plants are falling over, the dirt is just kind of lifting. They're lifting up out of the dirt. And so I literally just picked up, like I went over and dusted them off and picked up five potatoes. We haven't eaten them yet, but I'm so excited that it's going to be potato season. In my earlier adult life, that meant it was French fry season, but I don't deep fry potatoes anymore, so it probably will not be French fry season, but maybe in the air fryer. We'll see. So yeah, potatoes, and my onions are no longer little green onions. They are like bulby onions. They're probably about that big. So, but obviously still eating those. So I'm really excited at how well this garden has ended up doing. Everything I planted this year, even though I feel like I got things in late, but everything I planted this year has produced so well. I mean, the green peppers aside, but they're coming. Lots of tomatoes, lots of squash, lots of pepper. I'm giving the bell peppers the benefit of the doubt. Potatoes, onions. I'm just so happy. I love my garden. So anyway, gardening's going well. As I already said, Monday was Emma's birthday. She turned 29. That is just surreal to me in a way, because I was 29 when I had her. She's living her best life, though. Love that girl. Today is our 9th anniversary, and tomorrow is my mom's birthday. My mother will be 82, and she's also amazing. I hope I am half as lovely and healthy as she is at 82 when I get there. Otherwise, really just kind of getting ready for this trip. It's a lot. I have not packed one item of clothing or anything. Now we have the camper packed. My husband will be driving our sidecar. Hang on a second. Okay, some really weird bug just fell on the couch, and I'm kind of weird about bugs in here because I don't know what eats yarn. That was weird. Anyway, he is driving the sidecar camper rig, so that's what we'll be sleeping in, which is very comfy. I enjoy that. I am driving my new Can-Am Canyon, which he took today to get the recall work done on. Finally, the part, long story, I will not go into that rant, but it is finally fixed and he should be home literally any minute with that. He's going to do an oil change on it and that it'll be ready to go. I do need to start packing, and like our camping stuff is packed, like the sleeping bags and then our camping food that we're taking. We're spending, I believe, only 6 nights out of the 22 nights we'll be away. We'll be in hotels, as it is planned right now. The rest of the time we will be camping. Some of those nights we'll probably also be able to eat out depending on where we're at, but some places we're going to be are going to be pretty remote, so we're prepared to like camp at or cook at the campsite. We take like freeze-dried camping meals, like backpacking meals, things like that, which is fine as long as I don't have to eat those for 23 days in a row. It's fine. So that stuff is all packed. Bill is completely packed. Clothing, toiletries, everything is already out in his bike. I can't do it that early. I just can't. But anyway, so I need to pack. I'll probably start doing that tomorrow. I'm doing laundry today. And then I need to just make sure everything is all lined up and organized. And I've got notes about everything for the kids. Because like I said, the kids are going to be up here while the whole time we're gone, taking care of the house. Neighbors are watching things. So just have to have that stuff all lined up. And I'm sure it'll be fine. It's nerve-wracking to me to be gone that long. I keep saying that. I know it sounds really ungrateful that I have this awesome privilege of being able to take this long trip with my husband and doing this, because it's a wonderful once-in-a-lifetime trip for me. He has been to Labrador before, but I have never been there and definitely have not done this kind of a trip. So it's going to be cool. But I am just anxious getting ready to go because so much to think about business-wise and setting up the house-wise, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. The only other thing that I can say I have been doing is playing on my Switch, which I haven't had time to do much, but Tales of the Shire. I finally downloaded it. It came out, I think, last month. I finally got it. This game was one of the 2 main reasons I wanted a Switch to begin with, and my kids bought it for me for Christmas last year. The other reason was I wanted to be able to play games with them. Like on the weekends, sometimes we'll all log on and play something together. Usually like Mario Party or Jamboree or whatever it's called, Mario Kart, things like that. But the other reason was I wanted to be able to play Tales of the Shire. And when I realized it had finally come out, I started reading reviews of it, and they were all horrible. Like every review I read, especially the ones for the Switch version, because you can play it on different platforms, they were just terrible. People were just like, this is the most awful game. It's terrible. It's boring. The graphics are crap. It's just blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, but this is the game I wanted. And so I was kind of disappointed and I held off and didn't buy it. And then last week I was watching Amy Beth, Fat Squirrel Speaks. She has the game and she's like, I love this game. And that was all I needed to hear, because what I realized, and she may have even mentioned it, is these people who are dissing this game so horribly, these people are gamers. They are gamers who are really into games for the graphics, for the in-depth story play, and all of that, which they have found horribly disappointing and lacking in this game. Okay, I am not a gamer. Amy Beth is not a gamer. We are not gamers. We are older humans who just want to live cozy hobbit lives in the Shire, with nice fat pigs roaming around, where we can plant our potatoes, go to the Green Dragon, just chill. That's all we need. That's all we need. And from that perspective, it's awesome. Now, I will say, when I was trying to play yesterday, it got real glitchy for me. I couldn't plant my potatoes. And like the graphics of my hobbit hole were kind of weird. Like I could see through walls. I don't think it's supposed to be that way. So I don't know what was going on there. I just turned it off. I didn't have a lot of time anyway. So I'll try it again today, later maybe, and see if it's acting okay. But yeah, I mean, I've had fun with it so far. So like, again, I am not a video game person other than like I play with my kids occasionally. We do have a good time, but I'm not somebody who grew up playing video games. But man, give me the chance to live vicariously as a hobbit through this game, and I will be a happy camper. My little hobbit's name is Myrtle Brownlock. Just fun. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to leave you there. I will not get to talk to you again before I go away. I will talk to you after I get back in the second half of September. I will hopefully be able to post pictures to my personal Instagram account, which is just Fibernymph. I usually do that when we're on trips. This is such a long trip. I don't know if I'll get to post every day. And part of that is I have no idea what my connectivity is going to be while we're in Newfoundland. Last year when we were in Canada, I had no problem. Connection was great. But Bill said being where we're going to be in some pretty remote areas, that may not be the case. So I don't know. But, you know, if you want to follow me on Instagram under my just plain old Fibernymph account, you might see some pictures pop up now and again from this trip. Probably will not be every day like I sometimes do, but that's okay. I'll do what I can, and if I can't, then I'll just tell you about it and share pictures when I get home. So that's everything. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're having something fun going on here at the end of your August as summer closes. You know, that's the weird thing. We go away at this time of year rather frequently because it's a good time for us to travel, and it's a good time for motorcycle travel generally, weather-wise. But it's always so weird for me to leave when it's still summer and still hot and everything looks a certain way, and then to get home maybe, you know, a week and a half, 2 weeks later. This time it'll be 3 weeks later, and it's gonna be fall. I mean, I know technically it's not autumn equinox quite yet, but almost, and it's going to feel different, and I'm going to feel like I've missed something. I love that transition from summer into fall. I am a fall person, and September is my favorite month, and I always just feel like I've missed something. Now, I'm trying to remember, I'm going to be seeing awesome stuff, and it's going to be even more fall up there, probably. I don't know how fallish it is near the ocean, like those maritime areas. I've not really spent a lot of time there, but yeah, so it's just going to be a weird transition coming back home after having been gone that long in that transition from summer to fall. So anyway, neither here nor there. I hope you're having a good end of your summer. If you are back to school, whether as a parent or as a student yourself or as a teacher maybe, I hope that's going really well for you. I hope you're enjoying, you know, if you're working on things for our make-along, please continue to post those. I am trying to catch up with that thread as often as I can in Ravelry. If you're going to be doing the pigskin party, have fun, enjoy kickoff. I'm so sad that I will not be able to take part in the kickoff festivities, but I am looking forward to taking part in that whole make-along for the football season. So anyway, I will talk to you again in a few weeks. And until then, take care, be safe, love your life, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.